All right, I think we are officially live. Hey, Sonja.
Hi.
So this is my first video that I wanted to do. I'm trying to do an interview series. I'm Tanya with the Sunshine Real Estate team, and I'm going to bring on different fields in the real estate industry just to give us an opportunity to get to know other sides of or other parts of the transaction, because buying a home is a really big process and there's a lot of parties involved. So my first candidate is Sonja Juarez, and she's actually a lender. She's a loan officer with Legacy Mutual, and I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you just to give us a brief introduction of what it is that you do and how you got to where you are.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for inviting me today. I'm excited to do this interview and tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Sonja Juarez. I am with Legacy Mutual Mortgage. I've been with them and in the industry just over a decade. This year will be 11 years. So love partnering with Tanya and her team and just excited to be here today.
Awesome. We also love working with you. Sonja is an amazing loan officer. If anybody needs a good referral, definitely jot down her information. We'll have it in the comments below. So first of all, I just wanted to get started with, a question that a lot of people are asking, and that is, why is it important to talk to a lender prior to start searching for a home?
Perfect. Okay. Well, first and foremost, it's the expectation. Before we go and have our clients start shopping and looking at homes with you, is we want to make sure that, one, they know they're qualified, and two, they know they can afford the payment, that the mortgage they select is suitable for them. So not only can I say client has been pre-approved for $400,000 or $500,000, we also want to make sure that they're comfortable with the mortgage payment that comes along with that price point. So when we go out there and send you shopping, we want to make sure that it's suitable and that we're able to support you with a pre-approval letter to show that they have been fully pre-approved and ready to make an offer to support them.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really good tips. I definitely suggest all of our buyers to do this, because for all of those reasons, I think those are really important things for sure. And then what do you think what would you say the lowest credit score someone would need in order to qualify for a loan?
So for all programs, it's going to be a little bit different. Depending on if we're going government or conventional, we offer all loan programs. So we offer conventional VA, FHA, USDA, and the credit scores do vary. But if we're going government route, whether it be VA or FHA, credit score really can go down to a 580, a 560, depending on how much the client is willing to put down as far as the down payment goes, so that we make sure that we're meeting all the guidelines for them to qualify.
Awesome. Yeah, 580, that's a good baseline, I think. That's what I've heard. And then what would you say is like a middle of the line credit score, like if somebody didn't want like the lowest type of program?
I'd say 640. 640 is a good credit score to have. So it opens up more of the products that we offer. 640, I would say, would be the goal to have, or higher is great, right?
Right. And what is the difference? So if you have like a 600 versus a 700, why is it beneficial to have a higher credit score?
A lot is going to be depending on the program that we have available with the credit scores. Down payment plays a factor in it, as well as interest rate. So interest rate has a huge factor in what type of interest rate the client is going to obtain, depending on where their credit score is.
Okay. Awesome. And I was going to get into the interest rate question last, but I think this is a great transition. Where are the interest rates right now? Today is March 12th. 2024. What are the interest rates looking like, and what do you see them going throughout the rest of the year?
Great question. So I'd like to say that I can tell the future and I know where they're going to go, but I like to stay away from there, because if we were predicting and forecasting what they were saying last year and where the rates are going to be, it wouldn't be relevant. Interest rates are definitely staying steady in the 6s and 7%, depending again on the loan program and credit scores. I'm staying away from giving clients expectation of the forecast. I'm really trying to make sure that my agents and my clients are focusing on where the interest rates are today and making sure that they're comfortable with the mortgage payment and the expectation of if the interest rates don't change for 6 months or a year, and then setting them up for what a refinance looks like, how a refinance plays in, what it's going to look like when we refinance, and currently looking at the option of where rates are and giving them the option to do a permanent rate buy down or a temporary rate buy down to help them with their mortgage payment of where the rates are today.
Nice. I agree that it's very taboo to try to predict where it's going to go because you just don't know, and you don't want to be that person to say, yeah, they're going to go down, and then they don't.
Exactly. And I've been in the market to see for 10 years. I've seen the interest rates at 7s, at 8s, at 2s, at 3s, at 5s. So we've seen that wide range in just a decade, where I just like to focus on where we are today and making sure the clients are comfortable and that they qualify with today's market.
Yes, that's important. So speaking of qualifications, what do buyers need a full 20% down payment in order to qualify for a loan?
Absolutely not. So veterans can put 0% on a down payment. USDA offers 100% financing as well. And then a lot of first-time home buyers, we can go conventional with as little as 3% down. And then our government FHA, which is that minimum 3.5% down. So we have so many programs that offer less than 20%, 10%, even like I said, 5%. So we have a lot of great products that don't mandate 20%.
Awesome. That's a very common question. A lot of buyers actually think that they do need 20% down. So that is 3% is like, wow. Like I think people can usually save that amount. And in addition to the down payment, what kind of other fees should somebody expect to pay?
Great question. So closing cost is what comes into effect with not only your down payment, but your closing cost is what's going to be due for day of closing. So when I meet with the clients and we're doing our consultation, we're talking about, depending on the program, that minimum down payment, as well as what for them to expect with their cash to close, which means what check, what wire am I sending over for day of closing? That's going to be a combination of your closing cost, which includes all third-party fees. So survey fees, title fees, any type of fees, lender fees, as well as setting up their escrow. So if they put that less than 20% down, we're going to be setting up their escrow account. So collecting their taxes and insurance at day of closing as well.
Awesome. And what would you like, what is a good amount? Like what percentage do you think that they would need for something like all those fees added up?
Percentage wise, I would say dollar amount wise, we're looking at on top of their down payment, whether it be the 3, 5, 10, 20%, I would say anywhere from about 10 to 15,000 in addition to that.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. That's perfect. And what price point of a home? Like, is that for like a $200,000 home or like a $400,000 home, or does it matter?
So it doesn't, as far as the closing costs go, they do adjust depending on title policy fees, appraisal fees, depending on if there's acreage and how far the appraiser may go out. But as far as a lot of the fees, they do stay streamlined. So for processing and underwriting fees, for example, if you're buying a $100,000 home or $1 million home, those fees stay the same. So some of the fees you'll see a small adjustment and others really just stay the same.
Awesome. Cool. So I guess what it comes down to is just at least the 3% down payment. And that's going to be like the bare minimum to try to save up. And then we might be able to, work on some other things when it comes down to the fees, especially as a realtor negotiating into the contract and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And we discussed that as well. We never want to set the client up for assuming that the seller is going to pay for every single dollar or a portion of it. When we meet with our clients, we like to give them the expectation of worst case scenario. If you found a home and it's a multiple offer situation and you need to go in with a strong offer, this is what to expect for your down payment and your closing costs. We'll go over the expectation of if the seller is willing to pay the percentage of which program, how much the seller can contribute. But that's just best case scenario. If they want to offer paying for $5,000, $10,000 in closing costs, we just don't like to assume that. So we obviously set them up for the expectation of making sure you have the correct amount available to cover all of the cost.
Awesome. I love that. It's always good to set the expectation and make sure that people are prepared. So that's super important. Just have the money. And then if you don't need it, that's a little bit extra money to go furniture shopping or something.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Cool. And so going out of the requirements to be qualified, I wanted to ask, what is the difference? Because I get this one a lot. Is what's the difference between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval letter? Because everybody's going to need a letter in order to buy a home. But what is the difference between those two particular letters?
I love this question. I love the question because a lot of people are deceived by this question as they go online and they go to, I won't name any banks, but they go online to a website and they put in their personal information and they say, my income is this, my assets are this, and the lender automatically within 20 minutes gives them, you have been pre-qualified. That is based off of the information that the client has told the lender, what they make, what they have in assets. The difference where we at Legacy, we want to take it a step above is we want you to fill out the application. We want you to tell us what you make, but we also want to see it documented. We want to see your bank statements. We want to see your pay stubs, your W-2s, your tax returns, so that we make sure when we're issuing that pre-approval, we've verified all of those income and asset questions so that we feel firm with the offer that our clients are presenting. A pre-qualification does not verify all of that income and asset documentations that a listing agent wants to know that they're assured that these clients are pre-approved.
Yeah, speaking of listing agents, do you ever work close with a listing agent, or like what does that look like after you submit an offer?
100%. So we stay very, very tuned in with making sure that we're not only updating our clients, that we're updating our buyer's agent, and that we're updating our listing agents. Across the board, we give Tuesday status updates to making sure that we're reaching out to the listing agent. We're letting them know that everything is staying on track. If there's any concern with appraisal due date or appraisal amount, we're making sure that we're keeping them looped in throughout the process so that they know where their sellers are expected to close on time and if there's any additional information that we may need from them.
I love that. As the listing agent, I find it so nice when lenders are proactive versus reactive, or me having to reach out and find out what the status is, because it's a lot less stressful on me. So thank you for doing that. We appreciate it. Awesome. And then, so there is another common question that I get a lot, and it's if you have any first-time home buyer programs, or are there any out there that a first-time home buyer can take advantage of?
Absolutely. So there are a ton of first-time homebuyer programs. Some of them that I mentioned is going to be that minimum down payment with that 3%, the 3.5% down. But we also have a very commonly product with the down payment assistant program. So some of these clients may have enough money for closing cost or to cover some of the fees, but they may not have enough money to cover that initial down payment. And we have so many programs that help assist with the client's down payment. So whether it be a 2% assistance, 3% assistance, a 4% assistance, depending on what's available at the time of the pre-approval, we'll offer those programs to help some of these clients that may not have that minimum investment.
Awesome. And do they have to be first-time home buyers, or can anybody use it? Is there other programs for second-time home buyers?
Any client can typically use them. Some of them do have a first-time home buyer requirement, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them are going to look at your debt-to-income ratio, the credit score, as well as some of them do have income limits, but you do not have to be a first-time home buyer to utilize a lot of these programs.
Awesome. Well, that's amazing. I'll have to make sure to tell all of my clients that a lot of them are buying their second home. So you just never know what you're going to come across.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then another question that I had is one that we've touched on a little bit, but how do like realtors and lenders work together, maybe outside of the transaction? Like, do they do anything on your end before the transaction, or what does that look like?
Absolutely. So biggest thing for relationships when you're meeting with your real estate agent is communication, making sure that we're staying looped in with each other, that we have that relationships that goes with our clients directly in the time of closing. And then outside as well is making sure that we're meeting with them regularly, we're calling them regularly, we're checking in with past clients that have already purchased or clients that are in the process of looking for homes, to making sure that we're knowing the expectation and following up with the agent to see where our clients are. So we love to do interviews like we're doing today. Again, thank you for having me. Lunch and learns, to making sure that we're educating, whether it be our referral partners, our first-time home buyers or second-time home buyers. So absolutely, we like to stay in the loop and making sure that we have that relationship to do events like this and educating our peers and our buyers.
Yes. Yeah. I'm definitely all about education. And I love that you guys do like the lunch and learns and stuff. How much should a realtor know about the lending process before they meet with a client?
I love that question. So it's never expected for you to go in and educate the buyers, where we want to be able to do that for you, right? So I love that realtors want to know enough information, because educating them can go so far, but it's at least giving them the knowledge, where knowing enough information to have the buyer intrigued to do the application and have them talk to us. The basics helps, right? Is like you said, what is the minimum down payment? If you don't know that knowledge, then it's hard to push a client to say, at least apply and see what our lender can do to help you. We're not expecting you to know guidelines and debt to income ratios, but the basic information of credit scores, minimum down payment, seller contributions for negotiation, it helps, but we share that information with you to make sure that you have that properly documented with flyers, with any type of information, so that you can save in your database and you call us directly. If you're meeting with a client and you may not know the question, call me and I try my best to answer when you're calling, so that I can make sure and help answer those questions if you don't know the answer.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah, definitely. I love having you on standby whenever I do have a question or need any help, or any of my agents do. So we appreciate those
Yes.
phone calls. And
I love you guys calling me.
awesome. Well, good. And then the last question I have is actually for clients who may not qualify right now. Like, what do you have any tips or anything that would help them maybe down the road, or how soon could they qualify also? Like, what does that look like?
For all of our clients, if they don't qualify today, if they know their credit isn't where it needs to be, or if they know they don't have the funds available to put in an offer today, we always put them on a plan. And we always tell them the expectation of where they are today and where they need to be. So specifically, if it's checkings and savings, we tell them this is a dollar amount that we need prior to making an offer. If it's a credit repair, we're by no means a credit repair specialist, but we have the database to help clients build up their credit score. So if they're not necessarily where they need to be, we help give them that guidance to give them a game plan so that they are there in the near future to help them when they are ready to buy. We follow up with them weekly. We do check-ins. We send them automatic emails, making sure they're doing the right things to stay on track so that they're sticking to their plan and making sure that we can get them to purchase as soon as they're ready.
Awesome. So you do have a follow-up in place and make sure.
Absolutely.
They have.
Yes.
No, you don't want them to go with somebody else after you put all that work in.
Don't want them to forget about us. With as much as phone calls, I'm sure you guys get overwhelmed with phone calls and people, sending you mailers and all kind of information. We stay tuned in with them to make sure that they know who we are, they know who you are, and making sure that we're keeping them on track.
Awesome. I love that. Well, cool. Well, I just wanted to really thank you for jumping on and going over all of this information. I feel like it'll be a really big help to other agents and then even home buyers that are in the market wanting to know more information.
Yeah.
So I'm super grateful for you, Sonja. And if anybody wants any more deeper information, definitely reach out to either of us, and we're happy to help you. And if you want to be part of this tribe, make sure to subscribe. Hope you have a great day.
Thank you. Have a great one.
Thank you too.